July 4th, 250th birthday of the United States of America, live on CBS from the White House.
Yeah.
Fight card from the White House, live and free on CBS, the network. Come on. I talked to him last night, him being the president, and I'm flying out there at the end of this month, and I'm going to sit down and walk him through. It's definitely going to happen. We have like 2 different options laid out, and the matchmaking process has already started. So, yeah, we got the White House card done last week.
The card is done already to go?
Yep.
Nice. How many title fights are you able to say?
No. Okay. Me and Borsari actually fly to D.C. this week and sit down with the president and his team and start walking them through not just the production but the fight card. We have like 3 different options on all the different production stuff and see what he likes and what he doesn't like. But let me tell you this: it is this event is going to be so badass and so unique and so special and so expensive.
What's next?
Ilia Topuria on the White House. Has to be. No other option. I've been speaking it into existence since I fought Vaziv last year. I thought it would be Topuria in January, and then I would fight and defend my belt on the White House card in June. But things change up, can't control everything. Ilia takes a step back because of personal issues. I still get to fight for an interim championship, which makes me a champion on paper, which gives me Ilia Topuria on the White House in June.
Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje is finally official, and the twist isn't just the matchup, it's the stage. With the fight now tied to a high-profile White House event, this doesn't feel like a routine announcement, it feels like a detonator being pressed. The stakes don't just rise, they tighten. Every headline carries weight, every whisper sounds like prophecy. And while the world is still processing the shock, Ilia is already deep in the shadows of preparation. He's not celebrating the spotlight, he's weaponizing it. Camp started early. No cameras, no noise, just calculated brutality. He's moving like a man who understands that moments like this don't come twice. Training sessions aren't sessions, they're rehearsals for history. Every rep feels personal. Every round feels like a warning shot. This isn't just another name on his record, it's a crossroads disguised as a fight. He knows what Gaethje brings: violence, chaos, pressure, but Ilia isn't blinking. He's sharpening. There's a different intensity around him, colder, quieter, more dangerous. He's treating this like the kind of night that doesn't just boost a career, it defines it, brands it, seals it. And when the lights hit and the world locks in, it won't just be about winning. It'll be about who breaks first.
You had the matchmaking for the White House. I know you're not announcing anything tonight, but I'm sure you have a framework and an idea in mind of what that card looks like. What can we expect? How many title fights? What does the White House look like?
We have like 2 different options laid out, and the matchmaking process has already started. So, yeah, we got the White House card done last week.
Speaking of preparation, Dana White finally made it official and didn't sugarcoat a single word. From the very first sentence, he labeled it what it truly is: a dangerous fight, the kind that doesn't need 5 rounds to leave damage behind. Justin Gaethje and Ilia Topuria don't just hit hard, they erase space with one mistake. One clean shot, 1 half-second lapse, and the night could end before the crowd even understands what happened. That's the tension hanging over this matchup. But then Dana shifted the spotlight away from raw power and into something colder: preparation. He made it clear this won't just be a firefight decided by who swings heavier. It will hinge on how Justin approaches this camp, how seriously he treats every round, every sprint, every silent sacrifice. According to him, toughness alone won't survive in there. Power alone won't carry him. This becomes a test of conditioning when the lungs start burning and the legs feel like concrete. It becomes a test of discipline when chaos tries to pull him into a brawl. It becomes a test of strategy when emotion whispers to abandon the plan. Dana's message was simple but sharp: this fight won't be won by reputation. It will be won in the weeks before the cage door locks.
And yeah, just the last one. And now that it seems that it's going to be Gaethje versus Topuria, it's probably going to be a crazy fight also, most likely striking. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be interesting. I think that Ilia hits like a truck, and so does Gaethje. And I think if Gaethje prepares properly and gets ready for this fight, should be.
When the conversation shifted to the White House card and the idea of Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje, Jon Jones didn't hesitate for even a second. There was a flicker in his reaction, the kind you don't fake. He was clearly excited about Ilia, almost energized by just saying his name. He admitted that right now, Ilia is the guy who actually gets him hyped, the one presence that cuts through the noise. And when someone like Jon says that, it carries weight. He talked about seeing something explosive in Ilia, something unpredictable and violent beneath the surface. Not just skill, not just confidence, something volatile. He called him dynamite, and it wasn't a compliment thrown around lightly. It sounded like a warning disguised as praise. The way he said it made it clear he wasn't talking about highlight reels or social media hype. He meant danger, real danger. The kind that shifts momentum in a heartbeat. The kind that forces even veterans to stay sharp. John's tone wasn't casual admiration, it was respect mixed with intrigue, like he sees a storm forming and can't look away. In a sport built on intimidation and legacy, for John to single Ilia out like that says everything. It suggests that this isn't just another matchup on a big card. It feels like something combustible waiting for a spark.
But do you have a favorite fighter to watch?
My favorite fighter to watch, it's always been Anderson Silva. He's unbelievable. Right now, I would say Ilia. He really gets me excited. He's just dynamite.
There's rumors he will return to headline the White House with Justin Gaethje.
How crazy would that be?
Justin didn't just confirm the Ilia fight, he sealed it, circled June like deadline carved in stone. He spoke with calm of someone who has seen the ending and plans to write it in blood. There was no hesitation when he said he wants that win over Ilia, no doubt the aftermath can wait. First comes impact. When asked if the method mattered, he said he is always hunting the knockout. In this matchup, it feels like a warning. He swore he will fight at his limit for the fans.
Amazing. So how do you visualize this year playing out for yourself?
I hope I fight in June and get a win versus Ilia, and then we'll see from there.
Does it matter if it's a knockout decision?
No, of course, I'm always trying to knock everybody out, but I just will fight my best.
Michael Bisping revealed that Ilia's time away handling personal issues cracked the door open for a storm of callouts, creating a vacuum everyone wanted to fill. Justin started circling the winner of Max and Charles, and Bisping admitted he understood the temptation, the logic of chasing the freshest scalp. But to him, that path was a detour, not destiny. In his eyes, the interim champion has only one real obligation: walk straight into the undisputed champion and settle it without excuses. When talk shifted to a potential White House card, his tone sharpened. If Ilia versus Justin headlines that stage, he believes it won't just be big, it will detonate. He's not predicting chess. He's predicting carnage.
Ilia Topuria, the man is back. He went through a divorce, they've reached a settlement. Everything's all good. He wants to come back. He wants to fight Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje apparently wants to fight him. There's talks of the main event at the White House. This is how it's supposed to go. Thank God.
Yeah.
Because Justin was calling out the winner of Max versus Charles. I get it because Ilia was away.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But that's
Makes
not what
sense.
should be happening. It should be Justin, the interim title or the interim champ, fights the undisputed. Thankfully, normal service has resumed, and that is what we're going.
Paul Felder didn't hesitate. Ilia versus Justin isn't just another matchup. It's the kind of collision built for a stage as massive as the White House. In his view, this isn't about filling slots on a card. It's about selecting fights that feel inevitable, fights that crackle with consequence the moment they're announced. He backed the idea that the event will be small, razor-tight, stripped of filler and distractions, which means every bout has to carry weight, every name has to matter. There's no room for experiments, no space for soft landings, only the biggest, most meaningful clashes survive that cut. And in that atmosphere, Ilia and Justin don't just fit, they threaten to define the night.
Yeah.
I think.
We'll see. I hope so. And I hope it's at the White House. It needs a big fight. I feel like that's guaranteed chaos between those two and somebody probably getting put away. I'm also hearing that there's potentially only going to be 6 or 7 fights on that card for the White House. And it makes sense, right? It's a limited audience right there. It's on the White House. It can't be an all-day big, huge thing. They've got to try to limit it down somehow because everyone's talking about like poor Dustin Jacoby was calling for the White House. Hopefully he gets it, but you're talking about 6, if it's only 6 or 7 fights. Now, if it's a 10, 14 fight card or something like that.
Eric Nix didn't sugarcoat it, he called it tough immediately, and the weight in his voice made it clear he meant danger on both ends. He described Ilia as a data collector, the kind of predator who doesn't rush in blindly but studies every twitch, every habit, every defensive lapse, quietly stacking information until the pattern reveals itself. He watches for the smallest mistake, then builds his attack like a trap snapping shut at exactly the right second. Nix warned that Justin has a habit of leaving openings in his defense, brief windows that might seem harmless against others but could be fatal here. Still, he didn't dismiss Justin's side of the equation. He gave serious credit to Justin and Trevor Whitman as a coaching unit, emphasizing their ability to dissect problems under pressure. If anyone can reverse engineer a game plan and fix mistakes, it is them, he said, almost like a challenge thrown into the air. But against someone like Ilia, those fixes have to be perfect. Because in this fight, one tiny error doesn't stay small, it explodes into a defining moment before you even realize what went wrong.
Yeah. What are your early thoughts on Justin Gaethje versus Ilia Topuria?
Ooh, tough fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, Topuria is a data collector. He's going to see holes in the defense. I think some of those things that you and I talked about that maybe Justin was kind of overexposing. I think Topuria is going to look at those things and try to exploit those. If you're going to reverse engineer your game plan, I think Justin and Trevor are two of the best in the game that can do that and know what offense is going to come back at them if you're making these mistakes. So you're going to have to shore those things.
Luke Thomas zeroed in on one unsettling reality about Justin versus Ilia. The gap at the top doesn't just exist, it feels massive. To him, this isn't merely two elite fighters colliding. It's a question of altitude, of who is truly operating above the rest of the division. The way Justin reacted when Ilia began targeting him wasn't casual or dismissive, it carried an edge, almost an awareness that something different was stepping into view. Luke read that response as a subtle admission that Ilia isn't just another contender barking for attention but someone moving with rare confidence and unsettling control. There's a composure in Ilia's approach that suggests he believes he's dictating the pace before the fight even begins, and that belief can be dangerous. At the highest level, hesitation gets exposed instantly, and Luke's point was that the energy between them hints at a shift in power. It feels less like a routine title picture debate and more like a collision between eras, where one man senses the other might be operating from a sharper, colder plane.
Let's get to the people who we've been kind of dancing around this whole time, which is who I think are the two best lightweights in the world. Let's start with, Let's start with the champion himself. Here's a tweet from Ilia Topuria, I'm guessing to Paddy, obviously, quote, "Hey, little sausage. The only thing you had to do was beat a 38-year-old guy." By the way, you can just, if you say that in Topuria's voice, all you had to do was just beat a 38, you're comparing him to like any guy off the street who happens to be 38. Like the disdain with which he is treating Gaethje is remarkable. He says, "You just lost the biggest paycheck of your life. You were going to get rich if you won. Justin, all I can say is congratulations. And I'd like to tell you to get ready, but you're screwed no matter what." I got to tell you, Ilia Topuria from the top rope. I love this message.
Jed Meshew turned the spotlight squarely on Justin, highlighting exactly what he embodies: the toughness carved from battles past, the legacy built fight by fight, and the fearless willingness to step into any cage thrown his way. But Meshew didn't romanticize it, he layered in a warning. Those qualities, formidable as they are, might no longer be sufficient. Against someone like Ilia, the rules shift. Pressure and durability, traits that once defined a fighter's threat level, no longer guarantee leverage or control. Ilia's style punishes assumption, turning what used to be assets into potential liabilities. Meshew made it clear, Justin's past armor, the grit that carried him through countless wars, will be tested in ways it hasn't before. In this matchup, being tough isn't enough, precision, timing, and adaptability matter just as much, and the slightest hesitation could open doors for Ilia to exploit. The underlying message was sharp. Justin represents a fighter still dangerous, still resilient, but against Ilia, resilience alone won't dictate the outcome.
I'm A-okay. I have a lot of issues with basically everything Ilia Topuria has said over the last 2 years. Not this one. Like, this is exactly right. Like, you got beef with that dude and you can dunk on that dude. Like, that is A-okay thing to do. I do think he also lost the biggest payday of his life. I think it's better for his career if he beats Paddy than Gaethje, but like, I totally understand dunking on him right now. And yeah, I mean, the most likely outcome is that he blows the doors off Justin Gaethje.
Rafael Fizz dissected the Justin versus Paddy fight with a keen, almost clinical eye, and his biggest takeaway cut to the core: Justin didn't look like himself from the start. From the opening moments, he appeared slow, heavy, and flat, moving as if the fight's rhythm was foreign, as though his body hadn't caught up to the moment. Fizz zeroed in on subtle visual cues, particularly around the neck, that hinted at more than just a sluggish start. To him, these signs weren't cosmetic. They suggested Justin might have entered the cage carrying something beneath the surface, some lingering issue compromising his health and readiness. The implication was chilling. A fighter of Justin's caliber showing even a fraction of vulnerability early on can shift the dynamics of the bout entirely. Fizz's observation painted a picture of a competitor constrained, fighting not just the opponent across the cage but also an internal limitation, turning every movement into a calculation, every strike a test of endurance under hidden strain. In his assessment, the fight's narrative wasn't just about the outcome, it was about the warning signs, the subtle cracks that could unravel even the most seasoned warrior when the pace and pressure refused to relent.
What did you think of the fight between Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett the last couple of days?
It's a good fight. It's a good fight. I'm happy for Justin, and I'm surprised. I'm surprised how he not in shape in this fight, honestly, because on the first round he start this fight very slow. He's very slow. He's like look like he like sick, you know, like not in shape. I think if he gonna be same shape like I fight him in London, he gonna finish Paddy like first 2 rounds. First like I don't think he really 100% shape on this fight. I see his neck, maybe a staph infection. Yeah, look like, yeah. And Paddy, yeah, I'm sure he make me surprised. His head is really strong.
When the talk turned to Justin facing Ilia, Fizia's reaction was immediate and stark. He didn't like that matchup one bit. Age loomed large in his assessment, nearly 38, with slower starts and visible wear, doesn't pair well against a fighter like Ilia, whose precision and explosive striking leave no room for hesitation. Fizia framed it as a perilous style clash, a collision that could ignite the moment it stays on the feet. Even while conceding MMA's inherent unpredictability, he held his ground. The signs were clear, and they weren't encouraging. The Justin stepping into that cage isn't just facing a tough opponent, he's walking into real, tangible danger. Every inch of advantage Ilia has, speed, timing, calculated aggression, magnifies the cracks that age and wear have etched into Justin's game. Fizia's assessment wasn't fear-mongering, it was measured, rooted in observation and experience, and it painted a tense picture. This isn't about skill alone, it's about the convergence of risk factors, where small vulnerabilities can explode into defining moments. In that matchup, every strike carries weight, every opening is a potential trap, and the version of Justin that Fizia just saw might be in for the harshest test of his career yet.
Just speaking of Justin Gaethje, just over here, like how do you think he does against Ilia? Because obviously it looks like that's going to be the fight that's going to be next.
It's I don't want this fight, honestly. Yeah, because bro, he's almost 38 years old now, and if we look how he in shape in this fight, he look not so good. And fight against Ilia on stand-up, no wrestle, boxing, man, that's dangerous for him, very dangerous for him. And Ilia, he's like, he can turn off the lights very easy, like, but it's MMA, I know, I understand this MMA, like everything can change it like every second, but still, it's for Justin, like, honestly, I don't want to see this fight.
Ray Longo's worry wasn't about the opponent, it was about Justin himself. Which version would step into the cage? He's seen the cost time exacts, and it's etched into every fight. The Pimblett bout was proof. Justin will absorb punishment to land his own shots. That makes for thrilling, edge-of-your-seat action, but it leaves scars, subtle and cumulative. The real danger emerges against someone like Ilia, a fighter who refuses to retreat or panic, who thrives in close-range exchanges where every strike lands with intent. Justin's style, relentless, aggressive, unflinching, becomes a double-edged sword here. His toughness is undeniable, but so is the risk. Each clash in the pocket isn't just a test of skill, it's a gamble, a collision where one misstep or one overcommitment could shift the tide instantly. Longo's concern isn't hypothetical, it's grounded in observation, in knowing that the man inside the cage is both the weapon and the vulnerability. Against Ilia, that balance teeters dangerously, making the fight as thrilling as it is perilous, and Longo sees every moment of that edge before the first bell even rings.
I do worry about Gaethje a little bit. I think he's starting to slur his words a little bit. I think he's taking a little too much punishment, and the Ilia Topuria fight will be a disaster. That it's almost guaranteed. Topuria is not Paddy Pimblett. He hits like a truck. He's going to stay in the pocket, and it looks like, based on the way Paddy took those punches, that Ilia will be able to navigate through that. I just think that's a disaster fight.
This is the Ray Longo Minute here. Ray, I would love to hear your thoughts on Paddy Pimblett and Justin Gaethje and just everything that went down with this Paramount Plus debut.
Look, everything looked good. Look, exciting fight. I think that's exactly what the UFC wants. I mean, as far as technical ability for a heavy for a title fight. I mean, even Whitman couldn't get Gaethje to calm down. I mean, he looked like a just out of control lunatic at times. So
what makes Longo's argument hit hard is that he wasn't opposed to the fight, he almost seemed to revel in it, and it's easy to see why the UFC would hype it. Enjoyment, however, isn't the same as making smart choices for a career, and Longo knows that well. Justin remains a powerhouse, a fighter capable of dominating, but the cost of these battles keeps stacking. This isn't just another test. Facing Ilia now is stepping into a war against someone who has poured decades into the sport, someone whose skill and experience amplify every risk. That's why Longo frames the matchup as a problem, not because Justin lacks ability, but because the timing feels off, precarious. Each strike, each exchange carries weight far beyond the usual toll. The fight is thrilling, yes, but thrilling in a way that could leave lasting consequences. Longo's perspective cuts through hype and bravado. Justin's power and history make him dangerous, but Ilia's presence turns danger into calculated peril. It's not about doubting talent, it's about understanding that sometimes the moment itself can be the greatest adversary. The timing, the where, the stakes all converge to make this clash as risky as it is electrifying, and Longo sees that edge with clarity.
Very exciting fight, kind of back and forth, I think. There were times when you thought maybe Pimblett is going to come back and pull this out, but technically for a title fight, I'm not sure what I was looking at, because it was like mostly like kind of like a boxing match, you know what I mean? So imagine watching Lomachenko or somebody else. It was a little off, but very exciting fight, competitive. I think again a big hit for Paramount. I think that's exactly what they want to see, but. I will say this, I do worry about Gaethje a little bit. I think he's starting to slur his words a little bit. I think he's taking a little too much punishment, and the Ilia Topuria fight will be a disaster. That it's almost guaranteed. Topuria is not Paddy Pimblett. He hits like a truck. He's going to stay in the pocket, and it looks like, based on the way Paddy took those punches, that Ilia will be able to navigate through that. I just think that's a disaster fight.
When you break down Ilia versus Justin, the fight takes on a different, sharper edge. Ilia doesn't rely on chaos or messy exchanges, he waits, precise and lethal, needing only one perfect opening to shift everything. His timing, his power, his surgical accuracy make this far more dangerous for Justin than the bout with Paddy ever was. Justin can absorb punishment, survive storms, but Ilia doesn't spray strikes, he lands clean, and when he does, the tide can turn in an instant. Yet Justin's experience can't be dismissed. He's endured wars, survived brutal moments, and mastered the art of dragging opponents into deep, punishing waters where endurance meets cunning. That's where Ilia will face his ultimate test, forced to navigate pressure that never relents while hunting the single decisive shot. The clash becomes a tense duel, explosive, fight-ending precision versus relentless, grinding pressure. Every exchange carries weight, every moment teeters between control and catastrophe. It's a battle not just of skill but of timing, resilience, and instinct, where one misstep or one perfectly placed strike could redefine the fight entirely. In the end, it's more than a matchup, it's a collision of styles and wills, a test of whether experience can outlast precision, or whether a single flash of brilliance will decide everything. Who comes out on top in Ilia versus Justin? The answer may hinge on the smallest, most explosive moment.